I'm Kyle Long, and you're listening to Cultural Manifesto. Up next, I'll share my recent conversation with Steve Allee. He'll be performing at the Jazz Kitchen on April 4th. Steve Allee is an Indianapolis-based jazz pianist, composer, and arranger whose career dates back to the late 1960s. Steve came up in the local scene, working alongside legendary Indiana jazz players. As a young man, Steve toured nationally with the Buddy Rich Orchestra, and he's performed with a long list of jazz greats. Over the decades, Steve has become a central figure in Indianapolis jazz, leading acclaimed big band projects and composing for film, television, radio, and orchestral ensembles. I recently discovered a collection of lost tapes featuring Steve performing live in Indianapolis clubs during the 1980s. The majority of the tapes document his work with the Von Ohlen Carter Big Band, a long-running Indianapolis jazz ensemble co-led by drummer John Von Ohlen and saxophonist Chuck Carter. Steve Allee had no idea these tapes existed until he walked in to the studios at WFYI. Let's join our conversation. So thank you for being here today, Steve. I have some tapes I want to show you and some music I want to play for you that I think is interesting, and maybe you will too. So I'm just going to jump into it. This is a collection of tapes that over the last year or so I've found, and I want to show these to you. Here's a couple here. If you can read the titles. Most of these are from the late 70s.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's your group Zebra 4 with Claude Sifferlin, right? Yeah.
With Steve and Greg Korn.
Yeah.
And Claude Sifferlin, a lot of times, was there. Live at the Hummingbird.
Wow. The rest of these...
When is this night?
76 or 77. I can't remember which one that is. But the rest of these tapes in this stack are the Von Ohlen Chuck Carter Big Band, recorded around the same time period at the Garage, which was a venue in Broad Ripple, I believe.
Oh, my gosh.
These were recorded by, at the time, I guess, an amateur engineer named Cliff Funk.
Cliff Funk.
You remember him?
Yes. Yeah.
What do you remember about him?
Nothing. Well, no, just a real avid lover of music. I mean, and he was on the scene, but he's not. I haven't seen him.
He passed.
He passed.
And this went to an estate sale or some sort of garage sale, and eventually I was able to acquire some of these. Yeah.
How did you learn about this?
It's complicated, but it's just through constantly being on the lookout for these kind of materials.
Oh, my God. This band was fantastic.
Yeah.
We were playing all the time.
I want to play you a sample. I haven't digitized everything, but I have a few. If you put on some headphones whenever you're done looking through them.
I was going to say, did you have to bake the tapes and stuff?
No.
Oh, man. This is like Christmas.
I think that one has some info inside. Which one is that?
Chuck Carter, Hummingbird.
Yeah.
77. Oh, my goodness. We definitely had wonderful moments back then of the band was playing so much.
The Garage was where Kilroy's is now. Is that right? In Broad Ripple? Are you familiar with it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What kind of... Did they feature jazz regularly, or was this kind of a unique...
It was more like a rock and roll club.
Yeah.
We were at the Garage like on a Monday night or a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And we did it regularly, and we were playing so much. And so for a while, we didn't have a bass player, so Claude was playing Fender Rhodes keyboard bass with us. But we had the expanded rhythm section. We had Art Reiner on vibes, Royce Campbell on guitar, Reid on vocals, Michael McFarlane on percussion, and Claude on keyboard bass, and John, Mm-hmm. And that's just the rhythm section.
Right. There were trombones, trumpets, obviously Chuck Carter on sax.
Yeah, it was unorthodox. We did 3 saxes instead of 5, and then we did 3 trombones instead of 4, and we did 5 trumpets instead of 4.
Yeah.
So all of those arrangements, are in that format. Yeah.
Yeah, and this band was a big deal in the 1970s, right? Because the leaders of the group, the name leaders of the group, were alumnus of the Stan Kenton Big Band, right? Tell us a little bit about this group.
John Von Ohlen was with Billy Maxted's band, I believe, and on the road, and then he went with Woody Herman for several years, but his dream band was Stan Kenton. And so he went with the Stan Kenton Orchestra, and that might have facilitated how Chuck Carter got involved, because Chuck Carter played baritone saxophone and all the saxophones, and he probably got him on the band, and he was featured quite regularly with the Kenton band.
Yeah.
So, John, I think his playing was, to me, he's in the top 5 in the world of big band drummers, and it was just amazing. And really, we had our quartet, that played like for 2 years pretty regularly, 5-6 nights a week. And then he said, I'd like to form a big band around this rhythm section sound with the Rhodes and the organ and things.
This was at a time in music when big band music had fallen out of fashion. And how unique was it to have a big band playing in clubs in Indianapolis at that time? There couldn't have been too many. I know there were a handful still going, like Tommy Wills maybe, and Jimmy Coe, and a handful of folks.
Right, and Jimmy Coe, Jimmy McDaniels had a band that played some, but we were one of the few that was doing it on this regular of a basis. And the difference, we were trying to kind of bridge. Stan Kenton, he called it Stan Kenton Orchestra, and he was exploring time signatures and things like that with Don Ellis big band, and he'd even done the things with orchestra. They traveled in the early 50s. John said with 2 buses with violins and with a whole full big band, and they performed with. Maynard Ferguson was featured. It was called City of Glass. It was by Bob Grettinger, a very, very atonal thing. They would be playing for dances, and they'd play some of this music, and people were just like gaping at the band, like, what is this? This is not Glenn Miller.
Yeah.
But anyway.
That kind of informed the taste of the Von Ohlen Carter big band, that kind of like stretching out with new ideas. Because on these recordings, you hear things that are not dance music,
Well, and we were given complete license. So there were maybe, I don't know if I counted how many writers, but this was a band where Al Kiger was writing music for. Carol DeCamp was a major contributor to the band, and just an amazing writer on all fronts. And Alan Faust, who was already in New York writing national jingles and things like this. Dan Hurley submitted a few things. Bud Billings did a couple that I've lost touch with, and then I submitted whatever I could come up with, and I was very slow at the time, just trying to. Maybe I'd write like 4 bars in an afternoon or something like that. I just remember it being pretty tedious. And of course, we copied all of our own music, which took a long time as well. But,
you were hand copying everybody's part out?
Yeah.
That's a chore. Yeah.
They couldn't read my handwriting now.
Okay. If you don't mind, I want to play you just a couple clips from this to get your reaction if you put on those headphones. You recognize it?
Not yet.
You just played a little of the melody, I think. You recognize the melody? It's Coltrane. Naima.
Naima. Oh,
Yeah. Do you remember playing that?
no. I think this is this may be Al Kiger arrangement.
Okay. Does that sound like you on the keys?
That's me.
Yeah.
Just floating around.
Yeah. You mentioned you wrote arrangements for the band, and I think this is one of them. Tell me if this sounds familiar.
I can't believe you've digitized these tapes.
Not all of them yet. I don't have the zebra ones digitized, but I think this is one of yours. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, dearly beloved.
Yeah, yeah.
Chuck Workman used to always say, "Play number 40." That was our we number all of our charts, and he knew the number of dearly beloved.
Wow, that was you never recorded that, did you? On the big band albums? Let me play another. You do, I think, Nefertiti by Miles Davis, too. Whose arrangement would that have been?
That was Al Kiger again.
Yeah. Wow, he brought some really interesting material. Does that sound familiar?
We played he brought an arrangement in, and our lead alto player, and I won't say his name right now, but he played so avant-garde and out that Al collected all the parts, and he brought the chart in next week, and this alto player's part was completely blank. It said tacit.
What was the tune that he?
It might have been Nefertiti.
Okay, I know
this was Tom Meyer being featured on Nefertiti.
Really, you hear these and you can identify who it is, or you just remember who had what part from just
both.
memory?
I know Tom's sound really well.
Yeah.
And because he kind of has a Wayne Shorter style to it. But I also remember we only had 3 saxes. It was Chuck Carter, Terry Cook, and Tom Meyer.
Yeah.
And
I wanted to play a little bit of Spain, too. I don't know if that's something that who you remember who did the arrangement for, but you have an extended solo in this. I don't know if that's something you played a lot back then, but it sounded great.
This was a writer that I forgot to mention. I should write all the writers down. Gene Jesvold.
Okay.
He was living in, he was from Indianapolis, but he was living in L.A., and he was like a chauffeur. Like he chauffeured Miles Davis around out in the Monterey Jazz Festival and stuff. But he did an original called Gene the Bean and Spain.
Spain, yeah. You do a great solo on here. I don't know if you can hear it.
I used to be able to play fast.
How does it feel hearing this back? Is it odd to hear this version of your playing that it's like a time capsule?
Yeah, it was. I loved my Rhodes sound. I thought it was the best Rhodes sound there was. And you have the Baron von Ohlen and
quartet album.
Mark Hood was the engineer. I thought that Rhodes just sounded beautiful.
It's incredible. You mentioned John Von Ohlen, and there's a version of Freedom Jazz Dance on here that he just goes off on a percussion, so it's powerful.
That was a Chuck Carter arrangement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can cue up that. But it's so heavily percussive.
This is kind of like This Is Your Life, isn't it?
But yeah, this is a 15-minute version of Freedom Jazz Dance. And I think Art Reiner was on percussion. I think I heard the announcer say that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
John was he was such at the top of his game. He was a real catalyst for me to write as a writer. He really encouraged me to write. And then I think the time feel I got from him as well. And I have to say, later, after listening to his solo piano album, I think I was as influenced by John's touch and piano style as I was Claude. And that's saying something, because those two were very important mentors for me.
Yeah. I know this group was a defining part of John Von Ohlen's legacy. It's a big part of your legacy. You put out 2 albums, I think, collections of music under the big band's name. Do you have much tape that hasn't surfaced, or is this kind of like a pretty significant archive of the group's recordings out of what's been released?
Well, I do have several good recordings that did not make the album.
From those sessions.
From those sessions, yeah. That Red Man was a composition by John. Moo was a composition by me. And Cold Tater Stomp by Alan Faust was on there. And those never made the album.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have the opportunity to release it.
But yeah, the Cold Tater Stomp is on one of the tapes. I remember the title.
Choctaw Chief, we played that all the time because it featured Royce Campbell.
He would be the guitarist on these. I don't think he's ever identified, but there's some incredible guitar work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There was another track I wanted to play too. It's on one of the tapes that has the big band, but it's like a smaller group, and I would say it's definitely not you. It's not an electric, but I did say it's definitely not you on piano. But there's a really good bass player. I just wonder if you could hear this and if it would mean anything. Let me see. Cue it up here.
This is like a blindfold test, isn't it?
Yeah. It doesn't sound like you on piano. This is the real blindfold test, because this is not like off a record. There's no notes on the tape.
This is with the big band?
So this is on a tape with the big band, but this was like a smaller group recording, and it sounded like different musicians. There was a bass player playing upright that does like an extended solo that was just wild. So it's like good musicians. And I couldn't tell if it was John or not. There is like some pretty heavy drumming on it. Here you can hear the bassist.
Those were free times back then.
I know.
You could play anything you wanted back. I miss that.
I know it's a stretch that you would recognize anyone on here, but I just thought maybe
there was
something would give it away.
Dick Straub was a bass player who was like a virtuoso bassist.
Yeah.
And Todd Kuhlman sat in on a rehearsal with us. And I said, would you like to join the band? And he said, I'm moving to New York tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
So,
well, I'm going to continue to get these. Yeah.
Inner Urge by Joe Henderson.
Oh, yeah.
That's the song.
That's the tune. Well, you passed the blindfold test there.
At least I guessed the song.
Was that in a repertoire of any of the groups that you were affiliated with?
Yeah, we all played that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Henderson,
Yeah, but that's definitely not you on piano. There's no way that's you, right? Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. Yeah.
No?
Okay, that's what I thought.
But there were Bruce Stanforth was a pianist back then. Could have been him.
Yeah.
There were several of us, all
Well, I appreciate you giving it a listen.
trying to learn.
I'm going to continue to get these digitized, and I'm really curious to hear the Zebra 4 recordings. I know you have some of that, right? Do you have much of the group
A
live?
little bit, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Steve Korn's not with us anymore, but Greg Korn is, and he would be just completely flipped out to be able to hear that.
Well, I'll get you all the digital files and everything, and I hope there's something that can be done with this to get it out to the public beyond the radio show.
This is like Christmas here. Thank you.
And Steve, before you go, I do want to talk about your latest release, And Then Some, with the Steve Houghton Group. This is a legendary drummer based in Bloomington now, right? Or he teaches at IU. Played with Freddie Hubbard.
He retired from teaching, but yes, he's from Kenosha, Wisconsin originally, but went to North Texas, and was drafted from the North Texas by Woody Herman. He took Lyle Mays, Mark Johnson, and Steve Houghton, and that became the Woody Herman rhythm section.
Wow.
And after that went with Freddie Hubbard for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then he was out in L.A. and then started working with the John Williams, the film composer. And so, he played in all the big bands of Bill Holman, Bob Florence, Toshiko. So he was pretty darn amazing. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to check this album out and definitely going to play some. And I thank you for being here to go through these tapes. And
I'm in shock looking at these tapes. I mean, this just what do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 reels of reel-to-reel tape. That's incredible.
And they're fairly, lengthy excerpts of your sets. I think each one has 45 to maybe an hour of material on it. So there's a lot there. And, some of it's better than others recording-wise.
Well, I'll identify as much as I can, the arrangers and the personnel of the band. And
I'll send you an email with the link to download what I have so far, and then get the rest of it digitized. And
great.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here, Steve, and taking a minute to look at this
Thank you, Kyle.
stuff.
I appreciate it. You never cease to amaze me.
We've been listening back to my recent conversation with the legendary Indianapolis jazz pianist Steve Allee. He'll be performing at the Jazz Kitchen on April 4th. We'll end with a track featuring Steve's work with the Steve Houghton Group. Off the album, And Then Some, this is Make Someone Happy. That's all the time we have for this week. If you appreciate the arts and culture programming you hear on this station, please consider making a donation now at WFYI.org/give. And check out the Cultural Manifesto podcast at WFYI.org or wherever you listen to podcasts. Cultural Manifesto is hosted and produced by me, Kyle Long. Our podcast is edited by Holly Summers, and our radio director at WFYI is Roxana Caldwell. Thank you for listening.